medicine bundle is kept in the north by our kinspeople, the northern Cheyennes, so that when we separated, a group each took our holy covenants, as they are oftentimes referred to, with them when they divided and split as a peoples. And those arrows were carried north after the Sand Creek Massacre by the dog soldiers and those who said, we are going to exact our revenge for the atrocities that occurred along Sand Creek in Colorado Territory under the leadership of a man who was, and I don't know if you can ever not be, a Methodist clergyman. We sit in his church today. John Milton Shellington, who committed such atrocities, savage acts against the most peaceable of all Cheyennes, the band of Black Kettle, Mohdadidog. George Bent, who has written a book was edited from his letters, said that Black Kettle and his people were the most peaceable of all Cheyennes. That was the camp in which my late great-grandmother, Homa'iwasta, white buffalo woman, traveled. Black Kettle was the chief of the Watapia band, those who eat with the Sioux, a band, one of the 10 bands of Cheyennes that is made up of a mixture of, we call them Sioux, they could be Lakota, Dakota, or Nakota, who had married into the Cheyenne people. Their chief was Black Kettle Sutta chief, a peaceful man. A man who has been recognized in history as the greatest of all Cheyenne peace chiefs. That traditional government established by sweet medicine, who had been taught within the sacred mountain that we call Noaquas, the hill that teaches, the hill that gives, the hill in which all of the spirit powers of the world assembled to teach sweet medicine all that it was that he was to come out to teach us in terms of being Cheyenne. And when he came out, he was preceded by one of the 4 spirit powers of the world that sit at the 4 directions of the universe that we still honor today and show respect to. When our men smoke their pipe, they make their offerings to those spirit powers that sit in the southeast, the southwest, the northwest, the northeast, above and down to earth. Women do not smoke the pipe in that way, but what they do is to be able to take a newborn baby and using that baby's body as the men handle the pipe, making life ever so sacred, they can take it and point that baby's head to those spirit powers that were placed in their homes in those 4 semi-cardinal directions of the universe. After Michael said, now I reach the point where I have created life, and you must help me watch over it. and he sent one to the northeast, the second one to the northwest. I mean, I can't keep my directions straight today. Let's start. Okay, everything starts here with one's right hand. Southeast, southwest, northwest, northeast, up, and down. Ceremonially, that's the motion that we follow. Life begins in the east and advances around this earth circle. I told you this earth is a circle. And we advance from being small children in the white phase of life, which is what Maya told that first sacred power that was placed in that direction. He said, and white will be your color, the color of new life, new beginnings, the springtime of one's life. And at that period of one's life when all of you and even me were little babies, we lived in the white time of our life, when life was new. And we stayed in that period of life for about 12 years, give or take, not really set in concrete. And you just were expected to be little children. You weren't expected to understand life, but you were exposed to all of life about you. To language, to the customs, to our belief systems, to what it all means to be Cheyenne, to just live among the people. Secure the knowledge that what you gain had been passed on to generations upon generations of Cheyennes before you. We have lived long on this earth. We will continue to live. I've been blessed by a long life. The 22nd of this month, I'm going to turn 79. And my grandchildren accompanied me. My son drove me up. Oh, he's got powerful ponies. A pony herd that is all concentrated under the hood of that Dodge Ram. Many ponies. And we had a good time coming up. A different kind of pony than it was that my great-grandmother rode. But still a horse. That fourth period of history that we entered into when Sweet Medicine said, you will find this animal. He said it will have a long tail, it will have a long mane, and it will have big eyes. And it will be a very restive animal, and you will get on that animal with my arrows, and from that point on, you will never be still, you will never be quiet. You will want to travel here and travel there on those animals. He said, and you will want to travel into the blue vision, meaning the blue shadow distances. And we did that. But we still live in the time of that horse. Today we talk about horsepower. I don't know what if there's going to be a fifth period of history. If it is, then there's going to be another name given to that. But suffice it to say that we have experienced 4 periods of history. And so we came to that horse, as Sweet Medicine said, and they said, well, for now, you'll continue to live life. You'll advance out of the age of infancy and being children in that white phase of life when you don't have to understand anything, into the red phase of life, from about the age 13 to 19 or so. He said that's when the young people will be taught by their elders, where they will be educated, where they are filled with life, where their color is red, the same color of that spirit power that sits in the north-southwest direction of the universe. It's the color of blood, the color of earth, the color of earth. And that's when you'll be educated. That's when you will learn. And then you will advance into the next phase of life. And that's adulthood, and that's a very long period of life from about age 19 or 20 on to 65 or so. Adulthood, the time to do. The time to perpetuate your ceremonial life, to learn your ceremonial ways, to marry, to have families, to become grandparents, to do, to protect the people. And then you'll be at that point of life under the protective powers of that spirit power that sits at the northwest quarter of the universe. And then you will enter into that fourth age, that fourth period when you will become elders, characterized as the age of wisdom. I hope I get some soon, but so many of you already have. And so that color is going to be black or blue. The age of wisdom. It can be death, is the time when there is a complete cessation of hostilities. It is the time of peace. The fourth age of life. And so if you go back for a minute and retrace that journey when you were babies, you were like a fragile young plant that had to be nurtured and nourished by your parents because you could be very easily uprooted, and for us, culturally uprooted. And then you advanced into that time to be young people, to experience what it is to be a youth. And you become like a supple young willow where you are able to be bent and shaped by the teachings of your elders. And then you enter into the time of adulthood, and I would say probably most of you in this place of worship are in the time of adulthood. You're like a strong cottonwood tree that gives shelter and protection to the people. And then when you reach where I am, you become like a dried cottonwood branch who can be thrown into the fire of life. Teachings to warm the heart of the people. We were given those life ways when Mael put us on this earth.